Well, yeah, YouTube fam, this is HD, the Harvest Disseminator, bringing you a review of the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive. I just picked her up today on Canal Street, Canal in Carrollton. The Walgreens exclusive, Emma Frost. I'm really excited. I went on a figure hunt. I found her on my second try. So with further ado, mes amis, let's get her out this box and chop her up. Here's Emma in the box. I like the presentation. You can see the extra head sculpt. She does come with 2 extra hands. It is Emma Frost. I wish I had the Walgreens sticker on the box. I might have kept it if I did. You have the artistic depiction of Emma on the side, a more fuller picture of that art on the back, a description of who she is. You have that artistic depiction here on the side. You have the X-Men insignia here on top. You have the barcode down here at the bottom. And again, this is a Walgreens exclusive. So let's get out the box, Miss Ami, and let's see what she can do. In terms of the packaging, I did want to point out that you do have the X-Men insignia on the inside as well. There's some scratches in there. I don't know if that's intentional or it's just a factory defect. If it is intentional, Hasbro, you're killing it with that. I really like it a lot. And here's Emma out of the box. The X-Man, or I should say X-Lady. And honestly, when I first encountered this figure, she looked like one of my ex-girlfriends, Evangeline. Now, she wasn't really my ex-girlfriend. I went out with her a couple of times. And I am not even lying to you, okay? She once wore a similar outfit to this. Evangeline, if you watch this video, you know I love you. Evangeline is a vampire. They are vampires in New Orleans. Okay, whether you believe that or not is up to you. This is a different part of the world, mes amis, and things go down a little bit differently. But Evangeline is a vampire. She invited me to a vampire wedding. And I went just for the sociological experience. It was a real cool experience. We went out. I bought this black suit, and she wore something similar to this, even with like a little cape. Great experience. Thanks again, Evangeline. And if I see another one, I might pick it up just to give it to you. All right. But she's looking real hot. Right out the box, very sensual. She has these long legs, just like Evangeline. Similar build. We'll get into that when we look at the sculpt of the figure. But my first impressions out the box is that she looks good. I have her here on this stand right here. And the reason why I have her on a stand is because of those heels right there. You know, this is one of my biggest, complaints with the figure is the heels. It's almost like impossible to stand her up. We're going to try to look at a few tricks here today in the review to see if we can get her to stand without using one of these action figure stands right here. But before we get into the sculpt of the body, let's look at her accessories. She does come with an additional head, which is real nice. I like the sculpt on it. The eyes actually came out fairly well as opposed to some of the other wonky eye figures that I'm going to be reviewing, especially the current Captain America 80 years. Man, that head that came along, those eyes are real wonky. But these came out fairly decent. There's no wash in the hair, which I think is nice because when I think of Emma Frost, I think of like this really Scandinavian blonde. So that came out right now. You do have an alternative lipstick with this headpiece here. As you can see, the lipstick is red. So I like the head sculpt. We're gonna put it on her body here in a moment. And then she also did come with 2 additional hands, which I like. Their fist, and they do have a hinge. I wish she would have came with 4 additional hands, a total of 6 hands, as opposed to just 4, being that she is not a Build-A-Figure. She is an exclusive. I just really think that all Marvel figures should come with 6 hands. The Hasbro figures, nonetheless, I'm satisfied. I'm happy with what I got. It would have been really cool to have gotten like a diamond form hand, a translucent hand. Nonetheless, this is going to work for the time being. Now, let's take a look at the sculpt of her body. So taking a closer look at the sculpt, her head, real nice. Evangeline did wear black lipstick that night, so this is kind of reminiscent of that. She has blue lipstick, and honestly, I really like how the hair is coming over her eyes like that. Very sensual. I like the little smirk on her face. You want a more serious face? I think that this one is a little bit more serious, so it works out well. But I like her flowing hair. The sculpt came out real legit. This hair kind of hangs over the side of her face like that, which is real nice. Again, you have this very blonde hair, not a lot of wash in it, which I'm digging, because that's how I think about Emma Frost. I like that they sculpted in the X on her shoulder pad right there. I think that's real nice. Some of the paint apps are a little bit off. It's just kind of hazy here where you see her cleavage. And Evangeline, you know, she didn't have that big of a, cup size, which is fine. But she had that big old Cajun booty, and I wish they would have added that heel onto Emma Frost. It is nice. Could have been a little bit more sensual, I think, to go with those legs. But nonetheless, I could have definitely appreciated. But I like the paint apps. I just wish that this was a little bit more defined. To me, it's a little bit fuzzy right there. So some issues in the manufacturers that Hasbro gave the contract to. The legs are real nice as opposed to the white version that came out some years ago of Emma Frost, which I do hope we get a re-release of a white outfitted Emma Frost. I like how you added the paint here, the design into the upper boot up here and the lower boot. That's real nice. Nice. You have these cuffs. They do float. The belt floats as well, which is kind of typical for a female Marvel Legends action figure. I do have the scratching here in her hair. I can get over that, but I really wish that it wasn't there. She does come with this cape here. Let's take a look at her with the alternative head. All right, that pulled it on there nice and easy. So here she is with the alternative head on. I think she looks really good with that as well. You do have the flowing cape here, like I said. So sculpt wise, it's nice. Again, the boots, all right, when you stand her up, she's tippy-toeing here, okay? If you put her on her heels, she's leaning back, and she's just not going to stand. She's going to fall over. So that's my biggest complaint with the figure overall. Sure, the female body of the Marvel Legends figures, I do think that there needs some improvement. Maybe I'll touch on that in a moment. But let's get our other head back on. All right, it's voila. Looking good, mes amis. Let's pull out these hands and pop in her other hands to get a look at those. Let's see here. That is the right one. Let's get that in. And let's get this one in as well. Put it right in nice and easy. And here you have her more of kind of like you could put her in a fighting stance. Just get that hair over her shoulder pads there, and you can get her more like she's about to punch somebody, So I like that. That's definitely cool. So overall, my first impressions of the sculpting of the figure and how she came out, I love the long legs. I think she came out really nice, minus the boots. Now, let us take a look at her articulation. With this head, she can look up, far enough. Of course, this hair is going to hinder her from looking higher. Nonetheless, you can get her look up pretty decently high. You can use, of course, the joint there in her upper torso to look up as well. But just the head is not going up so high. She can look pretty far down. Of course, you have that ball joint that causes her to do that. You do have rotation, minus the hair. Again, the shoulder pad might get in the way, but you can get it to turn around pretty good. Just work with that. In terms of her arm, the shoulder pads will go up with her arm, so you can get her arm to go up. You can get a 360, not quite, sort of. You got to go out to the side a little bit to finish that rotation. But in terms of taking pictures of her in action figure photography, that's something that you can definitely work through, okay? So we have that. With her arms, you do have a single joint here in her elbow, which I am not a big fan of single jointed elbows. I like double jointed elbows, and I think that's something that Hasbro needs to include with a female figures. A butterfly joint would have went along way with her too. Let's see if she could touch her face, and she cannot touch her face. And that's kind of my litmus test with Marvel Legends figures and action figures in general is, can they touch their face? And she just cannot achieve that, all right? Get close to it, but she can't do her makeup, all right? So we do have this single jointed elbow here. And of course, we do have a hinge in all of her hands, which that is definitely a bonus and a plus. In terms of her diaphragm swivel, it goes around. You get a 360 with that. When you go up, you can see inside a little bit, but not too much. It works out well. I mean, there is a disconnect with the paint apps right there, but I mean, it's not so bad, you know. Her breasts are a little reducted. I'm all right. I'm a booty man, so you know what? That doesn't bother me at all. She does have this apple shape, which is nice. She can split about yay far. She can kick roughly about that high. Of course, you can get that to go. If you want to bend her knee, you can get that as high as you want it to go. But she can kick about that high. She can kick back that far. You do have this upper boot swivel up here. You have double jointed knees, so you can get that to go pretty far back, like say. Do you have a swivel in the boot, lower boot? No, you do not. You do have feet that could pivot about that high, about that low. You do have ankle pivoting going on here, as you can see. You do have these floating cuffs, but that's not a big deal either. So articulation wise, for a female Marvel Legends figure, I think it is pretty legit. Earlier on in the review, I mentioned a little trick that you could use to get Emma Frost to stand with the heels. I picked this little trick from Sir Dork 730. Find him on Instagram. That is his handle. He has these amazing action figure photography videos. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Very inspirational. I really dig his work. And this is where I got this little trick from. And he has a video where he deals with this. But it's just basically this little piece of wire that you know, granted, it might scratch the figure, but to me, they're action figures. So it's like, I'm going to do action poses with them, and it might get a little scratched up. But you see how easy I sat her down? It's because of this little kickstand right here in this wire. So, you know, it works out, and you could Photoshop that out relatively easy. And you can have her standing, even in your display case. You know, I think it might work. It's cheap. It's effective. So it might be something you might want to consider. And the beautiful Emma Frost stands right at around a little over 6, close to 6.5. So that's a pretty decent height for a female Marvel Legends figure. And here I have her scaled next to the Warlock Wave Dazzler and the Caliban Wave Jubilee. And here I have her scaled next to the 1980 Storm and the 90s Jim Lee Psylocke. And here I have a scale next to two New Orleanians. We have the single jointed elbowed Gambit and the single jointed elbowed Monica Rambeau. So HD, what's the ultimate verdict on this figure? Well, I'm glad you asked. I want to give this figure a very high rating. The only thing that's hindering me from giving it my absolute highest rating is single jointed elbows, no butterfly joints. Look, you can hear that in every review I give. But the biggest thing is she can't stand up without assistance. So you gotta either use the peg holes or use a kickstand like the one I learned about from Sir Dork 730's YouTube videos, which is very effective. So if it wasn't for the heels, if she was able to stand independently without help, I mean, I would give it even higher rating. But is she a must-have? I would say she definitely is. If you haven't gotten your ass to Walgreens yet to go get her, you better go before you have to deal with the scalpers on YouTube. So look, if you go into Walgreens to pick one up, pick one up. You don't have to pick up all 10 that are at Walgreens. Leave some for the collectors. Don't go onto eBay and sell them for $100, all right? So, man, have some respect. Know that people want these figures and they don't want to pay an arm and a leg for them, okay? So, yes, I give the figure a high recommendation. Go ahead and grab her. Put it in your collection. So, listen, y'all. This is my second review. I have many more to come. If you want to see them, you're enjoying my videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, give the video a like. And until next time, as we say, mes amis, here in New Orleans, laissez les bons temps rouler.